SellX is a new sales platform and talent marketplace connecting companies with remote Salesforce professionals. Quiz their CEO next on the RegTech podcast. Hey again, RegTechies. Welcome to the only podcast that helps employers and recruiters connect with more candidates through technology-inspired conversations. Recruiting technology is the key to hiring great talent, and that's why this show exists. All right, so SellX says companies are often bottlenecked by their inability to scale their sales and revenue teams fast enough, with a staggering 35% attrition rate, highest among all other industries. The average tenure of a sales rep is less than 12 months, they say, and turnover could cost upwards of $20,000 per employee. Here to tell us how they address this problem is their CEO, Dean Glas. Hey, Dean, welcome to RegTech.
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me.
Excellent. So what is SellX? Describe it for the audience there.
SellX is the world's first on-demand sales marketplace platform. What we do is we provide a fully integrated marketplace and technology platform that provides companies an easy way to access the best sales reps in the country and have everything they need in one place to work with them and pay them. While, again, on the talent side, they get to work remotely, find these opportunities in companies and give them the performance they need to obviously continue to grow and make money while they do that.
Sounds like Upwork for sales teams.
Yeah, we've definitely been, that's definitely what we've been coined, kind of the way we look at it is kind of AWS for salespeople, right? Where companies can scale up, scale down, and have that flexibility and scalability, which is what's needed today in this new environment.
Okay. So how do you train people to sell something that they're not, affiliated with? Like if they're a freelance salesperson, I guess, how do you actually help onboard them with a product or service that they're selling?
Great question. So you mentioned Upwork, so I'll lean on that. And I'm very familiar with Upwork. So unlike Upwork, where any freelancer can join, they're not vetted, and it's unreliable. We actually are more kind of a premium marketplace where we actually pre-vet and qualify all the talent that comes into our marketplace, and same thing on the company side. So we ensure we're getting the best talent out there. Then they go through a 6-step process, which has interviews, skill assessments, all these different types of tests to ensure that we're getting the best talent. Once they join our marketplace and platform, companies can then engage with the talent, so they can obviously communicate, share guidelines, playbooks, and that's all integrated into our workflows and software. And then through the platform, you have everything you need to actually manage those reps. So as they start to work for you, you can actually listen to calls, you can see their performance, their output, their analytics and dashboards. So you really, again, these freelancers become an extension of your team, and you're constantly obviously communicating with them to give them the resources and coachability that they need to continue to succeed. Lastly, I'll add is that we are a true smart platform, because for the first time, reps are actually working through the platform itself, unlike an Upwork where it's more of a discovery tool. We actually start to learn which reps should work with companies based on past performance. So we actually understand if a rep did a really good job at a specific company in this vertical or location, we'll actually start to match them and recommend them the right companies moving forward, so they actually have less ramp up time and can continue to succeed.
Are these certain types of sales reps? Are they software sales reps? Do you have different industries you can do it for, or tell me more about that?
Yeah, so we are primarily focused today on software. Obviously, in the future, there's a lot of other verticals we'd love to touch and match the right supply with the right demand. So we do focus on SDR, BDRs today that have software experience, and then we match them with obviously software companies, which again goes into the training portion, which allows them to understand the kind of nuances, knows the market a little better than most, and they can get up and running really quickly.
Tell me more about the vetting process. How long does it take? What do you do to actually vet them, and give some details there?
Yeah, for sure. So it all starts with an application. You can go to sellx.com, any salesperson or company that wants to join, and they basically fill out this questionnaire. That questionnaire is basically an automated system that, based on the answers that you provided through those questions, we can kind of put you in a different funnel, right? So top priority, mid priority, and low priority, depending on, hey, do we have, if we don't have that vertical available, right, we'll put you on hold until we do. If you are in a really good spot where you have a lot of companies and maybe in the fintech space and you have fintech experience, you'll obviously go to the front of the line because we have opportunities for you right now. And then you'll go through interviews. We'll do, skill assessments, behavioral assessment tests. It generally takes 1 to 2 weeks to fully, go through the process and get onboarded if you're accepted to the platform. Once you're accepted, we'll onboard you. We'll actually show you how to use the platform. We'll, educate you and give you what you need and the support you need to, really excel and really crush it on the platform itself. And from there, we'll start to guide you on what campaigns we think, we recommend for you based on your experience and based on what you're looking for and what kind of lifestyle you want, because it is a flexible platform. And then through that, they could start engaging with companies. And then once they start engaging with companies, again, they could start to collaborate, communicate, and start working together.
Can a rep sell from more than one company at a time, or?
Yeah, great question. So it really depends on the engagement. So if a company, we have companies that work on our platform that are only looking for part-time reps, so then they can work 2 companies at a time. But if, it really depends on the company and what the sales rep. And again, going into the smart platform idea and concept where we're really matching the right supply with the right demand. And that's based on engagement type, how long, what kind of vertical, location, experience, right, and skill set. So we're taking all these different variables and really trying to match the right companies with the right reps, which again reduces ramp time for the company, so they're going to get the best results right away, and salespeople can make the most money, provide the best results.
Yeah. Approximately how many reps do you have right now, and how do you what's your plan to attract them over time?
Yeah, we're approaching 200 sales reps on our platform today, and we have over 150 companies using our platform today. In terms of how do we attract them, I think our value prop is extremely strong in terms of the market landscape we are in today, right? Where we see the talent resignation and how talent wants to kind of be more appreciated. They want more control, more freedom, more flexibility to work with who they want, how they want, from wherever they want. And that's exactly where SellX kind of fills that gap, where we've created a platform that gives them everything they need, right, in one place to find those companies, work with them remotely, have all the tools to actually execute work, and even get paid for that work through our platform. So we're really supporting them and empowering them in new, better ways. And that's where we see the future going, obviously, where currently over 30% of the US workforce freelance today. And by 2027, over 50% of of the US workforce will be freelancing.
Yeah, I get this feeling like full-time jobs are going to become a sort of a exemption rather than the rule in the future.
Agree. Yeah.
How does an employer engage with the service, and what's the cost for them as well?
Yeah. So similar to the sales rep side, as I mentioned, they go through an application process. The same way we want the best talent, we want the best companies, right? So we really try to engage, understand, who this company is, what their product is. Is there a fit in the market? And again, we have anywhere from pre-seed companies, software companies, all the way to Series D. So we really have a wide spectrum of companies that use our platform for different use cases. In terms of once they go through the application process, we'll do a discovery call with them. We'll learn more about them, obviously what their goals are, and if we're a good fit and we can, mutually help each other. Once they actually do fit, we'll onboard them to the platform. We'll show them how to use it. And then they can, start launching these campaigns, which are essentially jobs, right, for sales reps to be attracted to apply to, and then work with. In terms of our business model, there's a subscription fee based on what kind of tier do you want? So integrations, how many campaigns you want to launch, how many reps do you want to work with, what kind of analytics do you want, right? So you kind of, depending on what level of the company, what stage you are in, you'll jump into the different tiers. It starts at $2,000 a month, all the way to custom enterprise tier. And then plus you pay the reps for performance. So as they actually start to execute work, start scheduling meetings with customers for you, the company will set a price for them, and we'll give a portion of that to the rep and then a portion of that to us.
Coming out of COVID and the great resignation that we're going through, what kind of trends are you seeing among salespeople specifically, or the sales industry, as far as that goes?
Yeah, so there's a really interesting thing, kind of fundamental shift happening. One side, on the company side, right, where we see today the kind of the great reset, right, from the great resignation now in terms of titles in the news. And what that I think means is that, pre-COVID, you look at it, the market, there was a lot of VC capital flooding into these companies, right? And they always thought they would have them to lean on. Now, obviously, all the markets are down, and they have to slow down. They need to start to recognize that they need to be profitable. They need to slow down their burn rate. And that's why all these companies are doing layoffs, Robinhood, Uber, the list goes on and on. So with that being said, I think the first people to go generally in markets like these are salespeople, right? So now all these salespeople are getting let go. They're looking for new opportunities, and SellX is there to empower them and give them everything they need to have more security, because they're able to work with more than one company, right? And kind of create their own destiny, which I think is why, the freelancer economy is growing so fast. And then on the sales rep side, I think, beyond them just being laid off or, hiring freezes that are happening, the great resignation of people just shifting to being more in control of their life, and wanting more flexibility to work remotely and choosing what clients to work with and where they want to live, has never been more important to people. So again, SellX is there to really, alleviate that and empower them to find those opportunities and still live the life that they were looking and, trying to achieve.
Yeah. How was the idea born? Taking back to the idea concept period and up to maybe your first customer.
Yeah, can you repeat that? Sorry.
How was the idea born?
Oh, yeah, great question.
Taking back to the first initial stages of this and how it started.
Yeah, so I've been an entrepreneur pretty much all my life since college. I've been building startups. So through kind of, building startups, I've learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, learned a lot, took them with me for my next startups. I ended up selling my last company to TikTok, was in the consumer space. It was like a location-based social network. Nice. From there, I started to kind of look for the next opportunity, a big problem to solve. And all my friends were working in sales at the time as SDR BDRs or SDR BDR managers or heads of sales at these companies like Uber, Yelp, WeWork, and even various small startups. And as I started to talk to them, I started to hear a pattern. And as an entrepreneur, I think, my reflex now is that once I start to hear problems, I get really excited. I try to see, okay, what are these problems and how can we solve them? So a lot of the problems that I heard was it was taking them too much time and high cost and high risk to build these SDR, BDR teams right across the board. It would take them on average 6 to 9 months from hiring all the way to ramp up. And then the turnover, as you mentioned earlier in the conversation, is around 30 to 40% a year. So you're essentially, spending so much time, so much energy and cost and basically building risk around your business for 6 to 9 months, which is unproven, just to lose that SDR, BDR, or at least 40% of them within that annual year. So I asked them the obvious question, look, and that doesn't really make sense to me. How are you guys solving this today? And the two things that came up was the earlier stage companies were using freelancer platforms like Fiverr or Upwork, right, to mitigate their risk and work with contractors in a more flexible, scalable way. And the larger companies, which was mind blowing to me, which is, they were outsourcing it. And I looked into that market as a $250 billion market, massive, highly fragmented across tens of thousands of these agencies, but you still haven't been modernized with technology. And, kind of looking at it from a macro perspective, if this is a trend that I saw happening and through these conversations I had, the way I looked at it is that the last 10 years was the gig economy, kind of low level value jobs available on demand. And the next 10 years is actually going to be the skilled economy, where there's going to be high level, high value add skills available on demand through technology and platforms like ours. So that's kind of where the initial idea and concept came. Kind of 2.5 years ago, I brought on my two co-founders. Kind of told them, they got it right away. They're like, this is a huge issue. We've seen every company we've worked at. We'd love to solve this. And if we solve this problem, this is one of the most important functions of every company's success, right? Revenue and sales and growth. If we solve this, we're going to be solving a massive pain point. So we kind of set out to do that 2.5 years ago. We started building the prototype, started testing, learning, and kind of just, reiterating on the software. Around a year ago, we launched beta, which we had, the first few companies on our platform, which I just did from, friends, networking, LinkedIn outreach, just to kind of get the ball rolling. Had a few salespeople on the platform, and just started learning from them, get feedback. What do salespeople need? What do companies need to be successful? And then obviously continue to innovate through our platform. And then what's exciting is that we launched out of beta a little over a month ago, and we're growing insanely fast. We're overwhelming responsive companies and salespeople that want to join our platform, and we can't get through the applications fast enough, which is why we're obviously hiring and growing our team.
What I was going to ask you, what did you change in the platform during the beta period to launch, like that you learned about salespeople, what they want in terms of features, functionality? Give me an idea.
Yeah. Yeah, great question. We could literally be on the podcast for hours if I go through the list of changes we made, but I'll go over some of the interesting ones that I found that I was excited about, and I think other people were on the platform. One is making the reps more productive, right? So originally it was very manual, right? Going through the process of doing the actual work, because it's it's actually a workspace where you can actually get work done. So originally it was very manual. It took them a long time, and they weren't obviously, creating the output that they wanted to see. So what we've done, and just one example of this, is that we released, like, the example of Power Dialer, where you can click one button, it queues up all the calls, and they can go through their leads a lot faster, which obviously makes them more money. They're more productive. It increases their workflows, which ultimately leads to more success on companies and more success for SellX. So those are kind of like just one idea, is that anything around productivity and making their lives and work easier, is what we've seen that we needed to do, and what we've constantly and will continue to do for them. On the company side, integrations was a huge thing, right? Being able to work with their core tools, because again, if you're segmented outside of their workflows, they have no idea what's going on, and it just becomes very messy from a data perspective. So being able to integrate with Salesforce, HubSpot, their email domain, Calendly or Chili Piper, which we integrate with, those tools allow us to continue to innovate and provide a really kind of great ecosystem that we play in with the current tools that the companies already use.
Interesting. You have a couple million funding, I believe. What's the go-to-market plan at this point?
Say it again. Sorry.
What's the go-to-market plan at this point for you guys?
Yeah, at this moment in time, so what's really cool, and what I think our investors love about us, is we spend $0 on sales and marketing. Everything has been organic for the most part. We've done some content on my LinkedIn, which is getting a lot of attention, and that's been more than enough to kind of fulfill. Again, like I said, we're already overwhelmed with demand from the supply and demand side of our marketplace, and we're just hiring like crazy just to fulfill and support those customers and salespeople. Going forward, obviously, we'll continue to think of great ideas of where our communities live, where these salespeople and companies are, and how we attract them. A few things that we have kind of top of mind is on the SDR, BDR side, because usually typically it's an entry level position out of college. We'll partner with top universities, and I think this is a great place for people to start, right? Go into tech sales, start flexing their skills and monetize their skills in new ways through our platform. So I think universities would be a great place to start. Secondly, we partner with SDR and BDR boot camps, right? Where they're upskilling them, and people that want to change industries can come into our platform and really start to monetize their skills again. And then lastly, where we're seeing a lot of reps at top companies like Microsoft, Gong, DoorDash, that are sales reps at these companies and leaving them to join our platform, which is really interesting because, again, they have that flexibility. They get to control their destiny. And all those value props I mentioned earlier, we really provide for them and empower them through our platform. On the company side, obviously, we'll do conferences. I'll do podcasts like these. But again, we have such a long list of companies already on that we're kind of just holding the brakes. We don't want to in this market, you see with a lot of these companies that have growth at all costs, and now they have to slow down. We're more at reasonable growth, right? We want to grow really fast, and we are, but we don't want to lose ourselves while we do it.
Well, if you grow as fast as you talk, you're on your way. So podcast is shorter than I thought, because you're definitely a quick talker, but appreciate your time today, Dean. And I guess it's SellX.com, right?
Yep, correct. Thanks for your time, Chris. I appreciate it.
Awesome. That will do for this episode of the RegTech Podcast. Be sure to follow us on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn via the RegTech Media handle. See every podcast, video, and blog we publish. Thanks for listening, everyone. And remember, always be recruiting.